Welcome back to my channel once again. I promised to upload the second segment of my conversation with Anthony Mukiibi on sales, distribution and marketing. I hope you'll enjoy this segment just as I did the previous one. Now, after marketing, how else can a product be supported to ensure that there are more sales created thereafter?
Okay. After marketing, you have to have after sales. After sales support is critical. No product should be thought of as not having after sales, even if it's a fast moving consumer product. Have people within your team. Using an example of, say, soft drinks again. If your soft drinks are flying, they're moving at a pace at which you would like, or even if they're in a slump, try and understand who is this customer that is picking them up. What else do they want? Because at the moment of truth, when I walk into a supermarket and pick up a soft drink, at that point, I have feedback. And there's no one there to ask me where I've picked that drink or maybe what my thoughts are. So there's a need for businesses, for companies to understand who their customer is. If, say, today I've come and on my usual shopping list, I've cut something, who is there to find that out? You see, I've seen several businesses with what they call merchandisers or promotion staff who come and pitch camp in a supermarket and ask questions.
I think I've seen some of those. Yes. You walk through a supermarket and somebody is quick to say, could you please try out this particular brand of honey or this soft drink?
Yes.
I've seen that.
Yes. At that moment of truth, you can get a gold mine of information because the customer is actually buying or not buying. Now ask them why, and many are free to tell. Obviously, you'll get the odd one or two who don't want to entertain questions. But at that point, why wouldn't they answer? Because they have the information. So if I'm not picking your product, why aren't I picking your product? And if that feedback is given to you, it's only fair that you see how best to repackage your product, to repackage the experience for the customer. So beyond marketing, companies today need to understand how valuable this shilling is that is coming to them. Understand the customer, make sure that you're delighting them. Beyond satisfying them that they're in customer delight. Understand why are they picking my product? How else can I make them pick more of my product? And all this goes back to picking that feedback with the after sales support. Some companies have taken it a step further for some that can collect enough information and call back customers.
Maybe
in Kampala,
before you jump into the callback situation, getting back to customers for feedback, Ugandans are usually very friendly and they wouldn't want to be the messenger of feedback, of negative feedback. Probably we should call it constructive feedback. So there's a tendency of them not wanting to tell you how they feel about your product. They would rather move to the next person who has something much better. How best are people getting feedback that is raw and real and authentic? Are they only relying on, are they called those small groups that you usually have?
The focus groups.
Do they still use focus groups? Because getting feedback, for instance, in the local communities where somebody has probably taken a product, do they simply get feedback from whoever is selling, the wholesaler or the retailer? Or, I mean, how does it play out?
I would like to differ. I think people are really open. When the moments when a person won't give you honest feedback is when they feel that they've been put on the line to speak, say, between product A and B. That at times happens, but in many cases, a person will tell you, I've chosen this because this does ABCD for me. And the last time I used your product, this is the shortcoming I saw. That information, in my experience, I've seen that information is easily gotten from customers. The focus groups, yes, those are still valid, and those help a lot to understand particular segments and also to get feedback. Although at times focus groups may not give you the real picture on the ground, depending on how you've constituted them. But that point in the market, especially for existing businesses, for those that are starting out, focus groups are brilliant. But for an existing product, an existing brand, if you have your place in the market, Ask those who are coming and ask those who are not coming. Why? Why is this happening? Because when you ask, they'll tell you. Those that won't tell you, even in the not telling you, they've told you something. Because at times companies take something so much for granted that when they reach to ask in the market, people are tired. And that also goes back to the point I was making, that if somebody gives you feedback, it's only fair that you repackage your product to reflect some of this feedback. But if you're the kind who is always seeking feedback and not changing, then you'll get some of these undertones of not wanting to even share feedback. Yes, so the point I was making of callback teams.
Callbacks, yes.
Have a callback team. I've seen it well played out in especially the pay TV companies here. They'll even ask you why you're not resubscribing to some channels.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're a bit of an inconvenience.
True.
But when at times you listen out to what they're asking and you have the answers and it's on their airtime, nevertheless, you tell them, no, this I'm not going to pay for, maybe because I'm not happy with your lineup. I've even seen it with some companies, some car companies that are selling, especially the people selling new cars, trying to understand how your experience is, how your service has been, how you are treated when you visited their service bay. And this information, or even seeking out this information, is a gold mine to those that do it. The challenge they have before them is using it for the better, changing the experience, changing the product. So yes, beyond marketing, after sales, make sure you reach out to this customer. It has never been as valid as it is today. Sort of understand who my customer is, who are they, because you receive 100, 200 a day. But if you don't have that record, it's not too late. You can start today and say, okay, maybe mine are not fast-moving consumer goods, but how do I get them on record? If they're not shy to say who they are, take a note. Take a note of where they stay, of their contact. Banks do it well. Even some telecom companies, they send you a birthday message. Those things are small, but they go a very long way. They really go a long way. I remember in one of the businesses I was involved in previously, we decided to have a database of all our customers. It was a medicine business. Medicine, or drugs as many call them, pharmaceuticals. Many people who come to you really don't want to come to you, but they have to come because they're not well. So in that business, even as it is harder there to get people's information. But we managed to get a good list of them. And I remember the first time we sent out Christmas messages, just Christmas, Merry Christmas messages. We got some who had never received a message of that kind from any corporate company, any business, any supplier. And they called back. After receiving a message, the person will call back and say, hello, I got your message wishing me a Merry Christmas. I'd like to say I'm grateful. Thank you for being there for us. And over time, we saw that some of these people were going out of their way to come to where we were. And that was, an SMS is really cheap. But the impact it made, and also the sort of reception that we got from people, to show that there is still that need for people to feel loved, to reach out to them and understand. That window is still open. So companies should exploit that window. Companies have the resources to sort of do it. So I think an investment there should be considered.
So in regards to the pushing of more sales, do you think promotions or bundling up certain products would create the so much needed push?
Yes and no. I think bundling, because when you bundle and say maybe buy this combo, I'll give you 2 instead. It creates
buy 2 get 1 for free.
Yes, buy 2 get 1 for free. Those have their place in sometimes when you're experiencing low sales. However, when it's sort of a global sort of slackening of demand, you find that it's not fair to the bottom line to bundle things. You'll get a reception and some spike in demand, but then it will be marginal, like it won't carry on, because obviously if you're selling, say, peanut paste, and you're saying buy 2, get 1 free. There's so much peanut paste somebody can take. Okay, they'll take today, then next week. You see, you'll keep on hitting different people, but then it will be the deal that they've come for, not your product. So yes, there's a place for it, but then at times it won't be fair to your bottom line to do that. I would rather you have, for instance, an extra promoter in the store, because when a person comes to your eye where your product is, and that promoter is there, somebody who is kind to explain what the differences are, somebody who is just there to repackage or to reposition how your product is seen. Some decisions I've come to know that some buying decisions are made at the shelf. Because if I'm going into a supermarket to buy, say, a pint of milk, I may have my preference, but on that day I can be swayed. Because, like we all know, some products have very small variations. Maybe you like one because it's creamier, you like one because of the reputation of the business, you like one because maybe your family likes it better. But still, on the quality, the variations are a bit really minimal. So at times, it falls down to just presentation. You reach a supermarket, and that particular product is not well represented. Maybe the pints of milk at that particular store are dirty. They were thrown in, say, maybe some water, and they are dripping with water. Maybe some are leaking, and they're all in this sort of state where you don't feel like picking them up. Now, that stuff that you've put there, I would rather have them than have a bundled offer, because this stuff will make sure your product is well positioned, will make sure your product is well explained, and at that point they can sway the customer. So the customer pays full value, the customer gets your product, and you're not losing value in any form apart from this extra maybe resource that you've planted there. Yes.
If this is the kind of information that you're really interested in getting, rather the kind of information that you'd want to always find on YouTube, if you find it really helpful, please consider subscribing to this channel. Anthony, one of the questions that I have here, probably the last question, is why do some great products struggle to get share of the market?
Yes, that's a very good question, William. Many products struggle, firstly, because they do not understand the market. The market, that also ties in well with the customer. They don't understand their customer. Now, when you don't understand who your customer is, you're going to make very many mistakes along the way. And those many mistakes are very costly, because many times, like I was saying about collecting feedback, some people won't give you the feedback that they have not chosen you. They'll do that by walking away to another person. So many big brands fail to understand who their customer is. A few years ago, I won't name names, but we had a company that launched a soft drink on the market. Now, a soft drink is something that is mostly well embraced in most markets, because for a country like ours, which has a huge population in the youth bracket, almost 70% below 35, you find that there's a lot of segments that you can feed this drink and get success. But this particular brand bottled their soft drink in a brown beer bottle look like. You remember
Yes,
that story?
I do, yeah.
Now, obviously,
ridiculous.
I don't know what sort of market research they had done, but to them, they felt that's their bottle of choice. Now, for many people who wanted to even give them a chance, they struggle, because some people don't drink not because they don't want to, but it's a choice they have taken, and they want to be helped uplift this choice. So if I want to take a soft drink and I'm seen carrying a beer bottle, and maybe the kind that shouldn't be holding a beer bottle,
Yeah, true.
I'll not choose it from the word go, you see. So
You
at
look
times
suspicious.
you look suspicious. You'll fail from the word go. And that is unfair to both the business and the customer.
True.
Because the customer is willing to give you their shilling. But the way you've presented yourself and the way you've packaged your product has cut them back. Another issue which is critical as well, it still goes back to not knowing your customer. You're selling, say, a $10,000 piece of furniture. Now, that's a fantastic product for the right market. But now you go and position, say, your marketing material in a university or in a suburb where you clearly see, you may not clearly see it, you may assume that you have some people in there, but you position your product in these spaces. The customer will see your product, and for some it will be a mockery because they'll say, okay, this is fantastic, but yes,
it's in the wrong place.
It's in the wrong place. I can't reach it. In some aspects of marketing, it will work because it's known as aspirational. Some people will look at it and say, okay, when I'm in a better place, maybe those are the guys I'll go to.
Yeah.
However, it's a tricky area to play in. So how do you position your marketing? How do you position your marketing? You're selling something in a university, which is for somebody who should clearly be already in the workforce with an income, with a facility, maybe to sort of access some sort of financing. So your positioning is key. But all this, like I just said in the beginning, goes back to knowing your customer. Many big brands fail to know. Exactly. Many big brands fail to know who their customer is. You reward the wrong groups, you motivate the wrong classes, and then expect sort of a different bottom line. So you'd rather invest a lot of money in your research to understand who is this customer, how do they behave. On a Sunday morning, where are they? Are they the kind who are in church? Or are they somewhere sitting and trying to recover from weekend activities? You have to understand. And if that understanding is achieved and clearly articulated, then you can package for them properly. But if you fail at those points, you'll always be stressed. You have a huge budget hitting your bottom line, but then you don't see any revenue. So knowing your customer is very critical.
Anthony Mukiibi is the director of Channel Partners, a consulting firm here in Kampala, Uganda. You'll find the details of his website and contacts in the description of this video. Anthony, thank you so much for sparing time. And do you have any final remarks that you'd want to make?
Yes. Thank you too for having me, and I'd like to thank the viewers for subscribing to this channel. Yes, finally, I would like to say that even in this period of cutting back and what we've just seen, where people are not committing their shilling to many products, as businesses, especially fast-moving consumer businesses, just be there. As in, wake up, set up shop, and be there. Don't stand away. Don't give up. For where you need support in, say, training, my business actually offers training in sales and distribution, as well as customer experience. But please stay in the market. Stay in the market. Visit as many retailers as you should. Open your sales team up. Give them the normal targets they've been doing.
And the tools
service the regions. Give them the tools. Service the routes they've been servicing. Many times when people cut back, at times they cut on the wrong places. They go and cut sales team. They think maybe this team is walking about and it's a slow period. Let them stay home. That's the wrong attitude. Many of them are acting as your extension, the extension of your business. When people see many of your teams on the ground, that presence, they feel, okay, this guy is still with us. Even if they spend less, there's that back of mind remembrance that this guy is still here. The company is still a going concern. But whenever there is less of you seen, questions start to linger in people's minds. These people are maybe closing soon. Maybe their product is not like it is. We can't maybe continue. Maybe they are on their last legs. So hang in there. Find smarter ways of being present. Keep your sales force engaged and in the field. Go on all the routes. Be present. These too shall pass.
So be present. Have your sales teams out there. They equally represent your brand, and probably they get the feedback that you probably couldn't have reached you probably via phone call or anything. They are your boots on the ground.
Yes, your ambassadors.
Anthony, thank you so much. For those that haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.